America, we hope you are ready for a brand new Kamala. The Veep is ready to move past numerous setbacks, a massive staff exodus, and cringeworthy speeches like this.
I think of this moment as a moment that is about great momentum. You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home. When we talk about the children of the community, they are children of the community. The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh my goodness.
With your own eyes, I'm telling you.
A new report from Politico claims the vice president is in a better place after the midterm results and ready to hit the road to show off the new and improved version of herself. One former Harris aide saying, quote, "Now that it looks like Biden's running, she's really being treated like what I would call a normal vice president. There's just less attention, which I think actually frees her up to focus on excelling and not have to worry about the relentless scrutiny." And one White House ally claims Kamala is just misunderstood. Quote, "One of the challenges that this administration had is I don't think that the White House writ large fully understood what it meant to have a historic first vice president. You have to put her out more. You have to put her out front more on some things because it looks different, and it is different, right?" Kamala is already making progress by literally standing up to Biden. Okay. All right. So I'll ask you this, Greg. They're saying that less attention on her now frees Kamala up to excelling. Okay. Why is there less attention on her now? Because Joe's running. Explain that to me.
I just think it's a marvelous coincidence. As the media and Democrats are gently trying to pry the car keys away from old Joe, they're now talking about what a great improved driver Kamala is. So maybe this is just a slight push back into the spotlight. But she says she's in a better place. A better place than where? Because I don't know where she is. Like, I don't know. She's like, Amelia Earhart has a bigger footprint than her. I mean, they shrunk her so you can't talk about her anymore. I'm running out of things to say. She's one step above, the ladies that open the briefcases on Deal or No Deal. But it's not her fault. This is where I defend her because she is a great American. She is not her fault in this hiring phase. It wasn't like they were looking for competence or stressing capabilities. To that person's point, whoever said that, it was all about the historic first. And the historic first now is an obsession every time the Dems are in power because they use it as a cudgel against Republicans. Like, if you want to vote for a Republican, then clearly you don't want to be part of this historic first. You must be a racist. Yeah. You must be, a bigot of some kind. But then you look at all of I think I did this before. It feels like I've said this before, but that doesn't stop me. The list of historical firsts are also historical failures. Sam Brontman, Rachel Levine, Kamala, KJP, Lori Lightfoot, Pete Buttigieg. Even Joe Biden's a historical first and a failure. He is the first president with no brain connectivity. So I think it's effective. The historical first is effective in getting the person in, but lousy at getting the right person in. Does that help?
No,
I hope so.
No, but thank you.
No, thank you.
No,
Judge.
thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. All right. Let me ask you, Harold, because you're very reasonable.
It's good to be back
good to be
around
back.
the table. I mean, has resonance today, doesn't it? It's good to be back around.
You're a reasonable man. She says that the pressure is not on her anymore because she doesn't have to put in that vote when the Senate's tied. What else is she doing?
Well, look, this is politics. I think she has shown two things. One, she's shown she can be successful in electoral politics. She was elected to be district attorney, elected to be attorney general, elected to the Senate. She didn't run a particularly great campaign for president, but ran well enough to be put on the ticket. But I take them at their word. She needs a reset. The president and the country could use her being a more reliable and effective partner for the president. I've urged on this show many, many times, if she tackled border security in a way that we've laid out elements here on this show, you all have laid out elements on your shows, it would go a long way towards helping not only President Biden, but the country. Second, she has more experience than anybody in this administration to deal with crime. She was a DA, and she was an AG of the biggest and most populous state in the country. Can you imagine if she went around the country collecting best practices, ideas, things that are working, police officers interacting with communities, police officers being funded, DAs that are actually...
So why isn't she?
So this would be my advice to her, to her, Judge. And she has, whether President Biden runs again in 2 years, I believe he will. This is not any kind of trying to be coy or cute with words, or if he decides to run and he's reelected or he's not reelected, she'd run in 4 more years. This is the time to build that body of work. And if I were them, I'd stop talking and I'd start doing.
Mm-hmm. You're a woman. How do you feel about her, Dana?
I don't necessarily think of her as just a woman. I think of her as a disappointment in terms of a vice president. And also, there was something about that historical first that gave us a little bit of, okay, this is going to be the first one. And then she basically whiffs on every policy that she's been given, including the most important one, which was the border. Mm-hmm. And she didn't do anything with it. So I think that is not good for her, or, well, not good for the country, mostly. But she is having a great couple of weeks. Who's had a worse week? Pete Buttigieg, last week, he was on the hook for all the failures that are happening in transportation around the country, and she sat back and watched that. Now Biden is on the hook for all of these documents and watch very carefully to see how she ever responds to that if they let her do an interview. Does she throw him a lifeline or a brick? And we'll see how that goes. They had 35 different staff changes for her to get to this point. Yeah. Slight exaggeration, but not much. However many people left her campaign, and then on the record said why they left her campaign. The people who left the White House staff office and were on the record saying why they left, because it was chaotic. She wasn't a leader. She wouldn't listen to them. Maybe now all of a sudden she has a great staff, and that's wonderful. But I have to wonder, how is it that the media, that the editors keep getting talked into writing this story? This is not the first time we've done this story. She's always just on the cusp of showing us how really great she is. Well, I'll sit here and wait to see that. And being in the Biden administration, if you're the principal, it means never having to be responsible. It's always the staff failed you or somebody else's fault. Nobody ever takes personal responsibility for anything. So I'll just believe it when I see it. She was a terrible boss. That's what her staffers said. Mm-hmm. So let's see if she can be a better vice president now with new staff.
You know, Jesse, the one thing that she was charged with was being the border czar. And I find fascinating that I've never seen a report on the border as to the root causes. But I think it was yesterday that New York City Mayor Adams said, to his credit, I'm saying credit to Mayor Adams, he said, we need a national border czar. And I thought to myself, her own party doesn't know what her job is.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. And if I was Biden, I'd be mad because the week they appoint a special counsel to investigate you, the next week your VP comes out with a piece that says, you know what? Yep. Things are going great for the vice president. Yep. Permission to make an analogy?
Yes.
This would be like Greg Gutfeld nearly drowning. And the next week, Jesse Waters' communication shop placed a piece in Politico that said, prime time is walking on water. It would be in poor taste. And I read this whole piece. It's your typical girl power, psycho babble. How is Kamala feeling? The first line of it is, new year, new you. I'm in a better place. I don't like all the attention I'm getting. And now she feels free to be normal. Oh, Dick Cheney was shot in the face. Did anyone write 1,000 words about how Dick was feeling?
Wait, he wasn't shot in the face. He shot somebody in the face.
Whatever. Yeah. Someone shot someone in the face.
But
did Politico write anything about his feelings?
Shooter.
Okay, how about this? Mike Pence almost got hung by his president, allegedly. Oh. Did anybody write 1,000 words about how Mike was feeling?
Yes.
Or how Al Gore?
It was actually 10,000
I think he wrote a book. He did. Yeah. But Politico surely didn't. My point is this.
Your permission is denied on this matter.
Yeah. No, permission was granted.
Okay.
She says
what about Gerald Ford?
She feels he fell on his face coming out of the plane. Listen, she feels a sense of comfort. She feels a sense of flexibility. I don't even know what that means. Do you know what it means to be freed up? Freed up from what?
Right.
They had a piece A paragraph that said, after returning from holiday break, Kamala Harris sat her staff down and went around the table, and Kamala asked everybody what their word of the year was. And her word of the year was momentum. Imagine Bush, vice president in the 80s for Ronald Reagan, sitting his staff down. Excuse me, what is your word of the year? They were fighting communism. They didn't have time for staff meetings about what their word of the year. Come on. And now she's saying on the same day she's saying she doesn't care about politics, she's not running. She's giggling at Mayor Pete for botching the airplanes being grounded.
Exactly.
So she's just a dunce, and I feel bad for Joe Biden.
Okay.
Good for you.
Are you done?
I do.
Okay,
No,
coming up.
I have another analogy.
No, denied.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.